Hi everyone, and welcome to another of our quick practices. This is great when you want to have a little bit of time on your mat. You've got a little bit of time carved out for yourself but don't really have the space in your day for a full hour, 90-minute practice. So when you're ready, come into a comfortable seated position. So that might be cross-legged, it might be with legs out in front of you, kneeling. You might prefer to come to lotus or half lotus, whatever is going to work best for you today. Taking a moment just to find that position, lengthening through the spine, feeling that connection through your sit bones with the ground of the earth or to your heels, and then closing your eyes or softening your gaze. Bring your awareness into your breath. Taking a few moments to feel the flow of your breath today. Is that breath fast or slow? Deep or shallow? Does your breath feel warm or cool? Each breath complete and separate from the one before it and the one to come. With each breath, allowing your mind to start to let go of events from earlier in your day, events still to come. Breathing out, letting go of worries or distractions. This is your time and your practice, and nothing else matters until you leave again. When you're ready, allowing your eyes to reopen, bring your awareness back to your body. Take a moment just to have a quick check-in with yourself. Do you feel as though you're even on the earth? Have you started to slouch? You've tipped one way or the other? Are you bending forwards, leaning back? How comfortable do you feel in your body tonight? Is there anywhere that you're aware of already that feels tight, uneasy? Just taking a quick note of your physical and mental well-being before you begin tonight. Adapting your practice as you need to make it the best for you that it can be. Okay, interlacing your hands. Bring your hands to rest behind the head, elbows nice and wide. I'm going to work with the breath here. So as you exhale, starting to round, to bring the head down, starting to round through the neck and the upper back. And as you do, bring the elbows towards each other, as though closing in on yourself, a bit like a flower at the end of the day. As you inhale, starting to lift the gaze, starting to draw the elbows wider, feeling the chest open, and squeezing the shoulder blades towards one another behind you. Keeping that flow going with the breaths on the exhale, rounding down, closing up, drawing into yourself. And on the inhale, lifting up, opening the chest, opening the heart center, opening the chest and shoulders, elbows wide. Just working through those 2 points for the next few rounds of breath. If anyone does find a seated position uncomfortable, this can be done exactly the same from standing if you prefer. Those who've been with me quite a while have noticed I tend to stick to more seated practices when working from home. That's because I don't know how much space everybody has got available to them. Also, my room is not all that big and I find it quite difficult to get all of me on camera if I do a full standing pose. We do have some nice weather the next few days though. I'm going to try and get some filming done in my garden so I can do a nice standing sequence, lots of space. If you have the opportunity to practice in your garden, take it. It is wonderful as long as you're not concerned about overlooking, but just hearing the birds, feeling the sun on your skin. Fantastic place to practice. So completing that current movement and releasing the arms out. Taking the arms forward, palms down towards the earth. Again, we're going to tie this movement to the breath. So as you inhale, turning one palm up. As you exhale, turning it back down. Inhale, opposite palm up. Exhale, rotating down. Keeping that going with your breath. Close your eyes if that feels okay for you. Working with that rotation up and down. Trying to keep your arms the same height. Awareness internal on the breath. Whole world outside this breath and this movement just melting away. And making that an even number of movements to each side. And releasing the arms down and giving a couple of shoulder rolls back, so shoulders up to the ears, rolling back, down, forward and through. Fantastic. Okay, and when you're ready, coming round to all fours. Going through to cat and cow pose. So when you're ready, as you exhale, taking the tailbone under, starting to arch up through the back, the shoulder blades widening, the head and neck coming heavy and the gaze towards the knees. As you inhale, gaze coming forward, shoulders drawing towards each other, the chest and the abdomen coming down, and finally the tailbone lifting. Keeping that flow going, working from one end of the spine to the other. Then add a little bit more of an extension into that. So as we come through to our cat with the back arched upwards, the head down, instead of pressing the earth away with palms wide, let me just see about raising up to your fingertips, giving yourself that little bit of extra lift, seeing how that changes the stretch across the back of the shoulders. As you exhale, you come through to the cow, bending the elbows, sinking the chest a little bit. Inhale, raise up, tuck the tailbone, starting to arch through the back. Now as you come to that arch between the shoulder blades and the head, raising up to fingertips. Inhale, gaze coming through, coming down to the palms, shoulders drawing together. And sinking the belly in the chest and the tailbone lifting. Keeping that exaggerated cat and cow going. It feels a lot more significant than it looks with that extra little lift. Okay, and bring that back to neutral, back to your central spine. We're going to look to open up to either side, just getting a little twist in. So starting with the right hand side, as you inhale, bending the elbow, taking the elbow up towards the sky. As you do, feeling your chest, your torso rotating, and the arm lifts. As you exhale, bending the elbow, hands coming back down to the earth, changing sides. Inhale, elbow lifting the left, arm raising to the sky. Exhale, elbow bends, hand returning to the earth. Keeping that flow going for the next few rounds of breath, getting that twist in. Couple more here. And stick with this one if that's where you want to be. Otherwise, we're going to start to make that twist a little bit more. So this time as I start to lift my right arm, I'm also going to step my right leg over behind my left leg. So I can really open the chest, I can open the hip. Much more range of movement there. Exhale, the arms start to lower back down. And the knee stepping back over the top. Changing sides. Stepping over. Inhale. Lifting the arm up. Extending away. And exhale. And coming back down and knee stepping over. There's two ways you can do this depending on where you feel more comfortable. First is as you step over, you go for a straight leg extended away. That gives you a really nice range of movement. It can feel a little wobbly on the balance. The other one is bring the knee to the floor. And that gives you a bit more stability. But sometimes you do need a bit more hip mobility to be able to bring the knee all the way down to the floor compared to the leg straight away. So try it with both, see how it works for you. And know that some days, or even sometimes on one side and the other, you'll want to use different versions. So completing an even number of twists to each side. Bring the bottom back towards the heels, pulling back, pose of devotion. Arms stretch forward, feeling that length from fingertips through to tailbone. Take a few rounds of breath here. On an inhale, raising back up. Interlacing your hands behind you, drawing down towards the earth, chest open, shoulder blades squeeze towards one another. And stay with this version, this is where you want to be. Otherwise, extending forward over the knees once more, bringing your forehead down to the earth. Or if the earth's a little bit far away, you can bring it down to a block, a cushion, something to raise the earth up to you. And then working with the breath, we're going to work with hare pose. That's hair as in the animal, not hair as in on your head. As you inhale, starting to lift the buttocks away, rolling up towards the crown of the head, and lifting the hands towards the sky. As you exhale, slowly rolling back down to come back to pose with child. Working with that a few times. Find the chest to open, the back to arch. There's also a nice but small inversion. Remember, if that version is not for you, you're going to stick to working kneeling, and you can try just lifting and lowering your arms away from the back. So you're still going to get that chest opening without the inversion. So especially if you're somebody with high blood pressure, or if anyone is practicing this who is expecting, I would recommend doing this kneeling up version, as the head down can give you sort of periods of dizziness. And making that the last one. Bring yourself back up to seated. And stretching both legs away nice and wide. Again, just taking a moment to check in. Is your spine nice and long? Have you naturally started to lean backwards, forwards? Your shoulders feel even? Starting to walk the hands along the ground between the legs. Trying to keep that length in the spine. So rather than rounding the back, getting a deep curve, think about bringing your tummy button down to the floor. However far that is for you today, you should start to feel a stretch through the back of the legs. If for anybody you now have chest down to the floor and you still can't feel any real stretch, you can put a little bit of a block underneath your heels to lift the legs up, go into an overstretch, but absolute handful of people I've ever taught will need that, especially after a year in lockdown. We've done a lot of walking, tight hamstrings, and not much else. So holding that forward stretch just for a few more breaths. And inhale, raising back up to seated. Bring both legs towards each other. And we're going to try and do this without leaning backwards. If you've been in my core strength class before, you'll know that I quite like this movement. And I would encourage you to do it against a wall if you have one available. If you don't have a wall, or even sort of the end of your sofa, anything you can lean against, your body tends to try and cheat. So shuffle to find something you can lean against, and that's going to keep your spine nice and long. When you're ready, inhale, lifting one foot as high as you can, opening it out to the side, and exhale, lowering that back down. I'm sorry for the noise, my cat got in a fight with his cat flap. At least it wasn't relaxation. Inhale, lift the foot, draw it back to the centre, exhale, lower down. Change to the other side. And press into the heel as you do. If you point the toes, you tend to get a very small gain on your lift. So inhale, lift the heel, exhale, open out and down. Inhale, lift the heel, leg nice and straight, draw back to centre, and exhale, lower down. Keep that going side to side. It may be that you've got a different lift one side to the other. If you haven't done it before, it may feel that your feet are welded to the floor. If you have kept this one up through lockdown, well done. And you'll know my next step, which is to get whatever you've got to hand. So tins out the kitchen work quite well because they're a regular height, but they're not too high. And if you knock them over, they don't break. But start to put an obstacle just to the outside of your foot. So you're doing that lift up and over your obstacle. and down. You can also start to play with this to have sort of maybe 1, 2, 3 tins. You have trouble today. Sorry, my cat also has been taught if he rings the bell, someone will come and open the door for him. He's rather spoilt. So you can do those 3 little cans, step over, step over, step over, step back, step back, step back. This is a great one for improving both your strength and your mobility in your hips. So anyone who says, I struggle with my hips, brilliant, do this one, okay? It doesn't matter if where you start, so you're just lifting, moving a centimetre and back in. If that's where you are today, fantastic, work with it, because in even a week, you'll be so much further on. You gain really quickly in this one. If anyone doesn't believe about working away from the wall as well, when I come away from the wall, I can lean back. Suddenly I've got a whole extra range of movement. That's because I'm counterbalancing with my body rather than my core having to do the work and my hips having to do the work to do the lift and lower. So making this your last pair, do an even number to each side. And then bring the soles of the feet towards each other, the knees nice and wide, coming to your cobbler pose, and giving that a little rock side to side, just to help release the hips, help release the legs. And then coming to seated cobbler, taking a few breaths there. With each exhale, just melting the knees a little further down towards the earth. Of effort and energy and tension. Staying in cobbler if you're comfortable here. Otherwise coming back to your comfortable seated position. Closing the eyes once more and sort of softening the gaze. Bringing awareness to the breath. Starting to draw that breath a little deeper down into the body once more. Letting go of physical movement and of effort. Allowing yourself these few still, quiet moments at the end of your practice. Our practice today has been based around the idea of small gains. Small movements that repetitively, over time, can quite quickly give you big changes. Thinking of how that idea can be taken to the rest of your life. Small changes that would make you happier, more peaceful, better connected. At the end of your practice today, I'm going to invite you to leave your mat, to put one of these changes into practice. Tiny gain. Something that will improve your life day on day. What small thing can you do for yourself, self-care, at the end of your practice today? As you take that moment, I want you to enjoy that feeling of happiness, enjoyment, peace, whatever you have gifted to yourself. No rushing, no guilt. Your time for you. And when you're ready, allowing your eyes to reopen. No relaxation today. Had a small gain. We kept the cobbler pose. Held it for just over 2 minutes. Just giving you a small gain, just passively through your hips, calves, your thighs, all your legs. When you're ready, bring your hands around the outside of the knees and gently drawing them together. Stretching, rolling away, or releasing any other way that feels right for you. And bring your hands together at your chest and prayer to close. Going today with peace, compassion, contentment. Namaste.